What's going on with your friend Gavin?
Well, Sean, I look at the Democratic Party now. I don't think you've ever had a political party that's less popular. I think they have like a 19% approval rating. They got drubbed in the 2024 election. Joe Biden, their president, was a failure. And they're doubling down on the things that people don't like about them. They're doubling down on open borders. They're always attacking President Trump for doing border security and immigration enforcement. They're doubling down on the gender insanity and the mutilation of minors. So they haven't learned anything. And so what you have Governor Newsom doing is he's kowtowing to those folks who represent the 18% who are out of step with the rest of America. He's getting more popular with them, but I think in the process, turning off middle America. And that's the thing. California, they have so many natural advantages. All these industries that have happened, he'll cite those. He had nothing to do with it. He had nothing to do with Silicon Valley or any of this other stuff. People recognize the stuff that's happened in California over the year that has been positive, but yet California as governance now has become a punchline. People know when you mention California, you're talking about unhinged leftist government. And the fact that they're thinking about reimposing COVID restrictions, that's just the icing on the cake. You've got to be kidding me.
Okay, so he might be able to cleverly appeal to the radical left that's taken over his party, maybe get the nomination. It seems clear the moment he walked in that Oval Office when Biden was president, flipped that jacket slickly over his back, that he was picking out the drapes. However, he'd have to win a general election. The questions that I am raising would be, do you want America to become California? How does the nation weigh in on that?
Well, I don't think there's any question because we already know how people have weighed in. They had never lost population in the entire history of California. I remember growing up in Florida, I always viewed California as the place you'd aspire to go to. I was in the Navy active duty at NAB Coronado. Beautiful place, and yet they're hemorrhaging population. It's not because California all of a sudden has bad weather or they don't have good stuff to offer. It's because of the leftist policies. They're now synonymous with homelessness. They're synonymous with weak on crime policies, and they're synonymous with high taxes and really profligate spending. Right. So I don't think that dog's going to hunt nationally. But, the reality is he's trying to curry favor with a very far left base of that party, which is not popular across the fruited plain.
We have less than a minute. In Florida now, you're talking about ending all mandatory vaccinations. Tell us about it.
Well, we believe in informed consent. We believe in parents' rights. You have other countries like the United Kingdom and Sweden that have zero mandates, yet they have very high vaccination uptake. Their kids are healthy. And so we've seen public health abuse its authority over the years during COVID, trying to be very restrictive. And I think it's turned a lot of people off. And so our view is we want parents to be able to make the best decisions with them and their doctor about their kids' health. I know as a parent, that's what I would appreciate. And so we want to make sure informed consent and medical freedom rule the day.
It's called freedom, the free state of Florida. Governor, appreciate you being with us. Thank you. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.